There are a few things within this sport in general, but within this sport that drive me bonkers. I mean, there's just some terms and some phrases. Cut him off, footwork. By example, pressure is also one that you just can't have sport without having some kind of a sports talk guy talk about who has the pressure. And I would have less of a problem with it if they ever explain to the audience why that's relevant. Right? Why would that matter who has the pressure? And there's only one piece of relevance to it, which is pressure creates a stress, and that stress creates a fatigue at a faster rate than you would fatigue had you not have the stress. So now you're just talking about who's going to get tired faster. That's all the pressure part means. But I want to break my own rule and have a discussion on it, because as we look at Colby versus Tyron, I think that pressure is relevant because stress and fatigue over a 25-minute atmosphere, particularly with a former teammate, a current competitor within your division who's also one of the top guys, and somebody that you personally have animosity with, are all things that also create a fatigue. So you have to break this down because both guys' approach has been very different for this fight. Tyron Woodley has never had a problem doing media. He's out and about. He's doing all sorts of stuff all the time, and he even does it in a very creative way. Whether he throws on a fur jacket and sunglasses or whether he goes and breaks into a rap, he knows how to go out and make sure that his name is out there. But I've never seen him be so mean. I mean, he is aggressive to a very high level here. I'll give you two quotes that have stuck with me. He said, I'm going to kick Colby in the nuts. Don't care if they take a point with way I'm kicking him in the nuts. I don't know where that comes from. I'm just telling you what was said. And then he came out and he said, I'm gonna knock him out, wake him up, and knock him out again. I'm gonna submit him, then knock him out, then wake him up and submit him and knock him out again. Then I'm gonna sweep him off the floor and I'm not gonna shake his hand after the fight. Okay. I just don't know that I've ever heard Tyron so upset. I don't know that I've heard any athlete talk about niceties post-fight and the fact that they're not going to do them regardless on the outcome. I mean, it was just one of these interesting things. Made me more interested in the fight. Meanwhile, on the other side of the tracks, Colby hasn't said anything. I have not seen an interview that Colby's done, and Colby has some outlets that he always goes to. BJpenn.com, by example. They do more Colby Covington interviews than anybody else gets them. Ariel Helwani, by example. I mean, I see Colby sitting over there. He's got the glasses. He's doing the shtick on ESPN Plus with Ariel all of the time. Ariel told me earlier today, he said, man, I can't get a hold of him. Said, I've been trying. He told me it was like 6 weeks or 8 weeks. I haven't been able to get a hold of him. So I started looking around going, okay, so it's not just me. It's not just me that's noticed there's less Colby out there. There is genuinely less Colby out there. And the question is why? And what can we make of this, if anything? Does Colby simply have his head down and he's focused? Did he go to a new gym and the new gym told him, we will welcome you in, but we don't really like the interview stuff over here, and Colby respected it and did it? Is it option 3, which is probably more likely? Something that I haven't guessed yet. And also, then what do you make of Tyron? Is he just hyping a fight, or is he trying to talk himself into something? That's a very real thing. Sometimes you've got to talk to others and get yourself fired up as a way of giving a message to yourself and getting yourself in the right state of mind. But it all does tie back to who has more pressure. Seemingly going into the fight, the one guy that talked versus the one guy that didn't, boom, pretty obvious answer. The guy who talked has the pressure, seemingly. I feel that there's other things at play, though, here. Both have very big goals. Both are very top of the sport. That's the reason that they're main eventing a card. That Chimaev is on, that Mackenzie Dern is on, that Johnny Walker is on, that Cowboy Cerrone is on. They're the top of the card. Studs. No way around it. Headed somewhere. This fight is going to be a springboard into something else that's also going to be a very big deal, likely in a main event spot. Possible title ramifications. I'm not sure about that, but it is possible. It's that big of a fight. Former champion versus former interim champion. That's a big damn deal. Who used to be teammates. It's a big deal. So let's take a look at it if you want to talk about pressure. What happens to Colby if Colby gets beat? That'll be 2 in a row. To 2 of the baddest dudes out there, both in main event spots. And the answer likely is nothing much. Colby's fall is probably very, very minimal. At that 170 pound, it's hard to find a guy who doesn't have a loss. And you can look at the champ, could turn to Masvidal. There's always something special there. Could look at Gilbert Burns. I mean, these guys all have losses, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes at 170 pounds when it's iron on top of iron. So I would predict that the fall for Colby is probably not very much. Then what is the fall for Tyron? That would represent his third loss in a row. And you already have people that are talking that he's approaching 40 or he's not the same Tyron. We heard Tyron saying some similar things to this of I've now been remotivated and reinvigorated. You're going to see the old me. I never knew the old Tyron was gone. I thought he's looked great every time he fought. Well, I thought, okay, a couple matches, the opponent looked better. Judges got it right. That's the way the game is played. I've never seen these problems that I do hear the chatter on Tyron. But that is a very real thing. I do recognize the phenomenon. I do recognize people that are more than happy to knock the champ off his perch and continue to see him fall. And should he lose to Colby, yes, they are then going to have more ammunition and he will be on a 3-fight losing streak. So who has the pressure? I hate the word, I hate the question, but it does seem in this kind of a match that is very unique. It's teammate versus teammate. Workout partner against workout partner. There is animosity here that is very personal, on a very personal level. We're seeing that from Tyron. We're hearing nothing from Colby, and we're left to interpret why not. Pretty interesting. So I'll ask you, who has the pressure?